You've probably heard about the tongue map. You may not have seen the diagram, but you've heard people talk about it. There are different parts of your tongue that are sensitive to different tastes. So sweetness, for instance, we sense in one part of the tongue, and salty we sense in a different part of the tongue. I've been hearing this my whole life, and it wasn't until I wrote my book, Food Science for Gardeners, that I found out it's a myth. Turns out we have taste sensors in our mouth, and they're located everywhere on the tongue and our throat and the sides of our mouth. There is not a specific place for sensing sweetness. In this program, I'm going to have a closer look at that and also look at the difference between taste and flavor and why do we taste things differently as we age. The tongue map started with a German study in 1901, and this study showed that there were slight differences in sensitivity in different parts of the tongue. For example, your sensitivity for sugar might be a little stronger at the tip than at the back of the tongue. In 1942, Edward Boring published a paper that took this data and actually drew a map of it. Again, he was talking about very slight differences in sensitivity, but the popular press at the time took that information, extrapolated it incorrectly, and drew a nice map to show that in different areas of your tongue, you taste things differently. That's how the tongue map started. So how do we taste things? Well, we have taste buds, and these buds have a number of sensors in them. Each sensor is designed for a different kind of compound. So we have a sensor for salty things. When salt touches that sensor, a signal is sent to the brain and we interpret it as salty food. But these sensors are found in each taste bud, and we have taste buds throughout our whole mouth. Here's an interesting side bet. One of our taste sensors is for sour, and it is actually measuring the pH of the material in our mouth. That same sensor is also found in our spinal cord, and there it's also measuring pH. It's probably found in other parts of the body. The pH of liquids in our body is really crucial to our health, and our body adjusts pH. So we have those sensors all over the place, including in our mouth. Now, the sensors also work at different rates. The sweet and salty sensors are quite quick, and so we generally taste those first. The bitter sensors are a little slower, and they usually take a while to take effect. And that's why we tend to find that a lot of food has an bitter aftertaste. That aftertaste is really due to slow sensors in our taste buds. You're probably familiar with the four tastes: salty, sweet, sour, and bitter. But scientists are now convinced that there is a fifth taste, and it's pronounced umami. It's described as the taste for savory. You find that taste a lot in things like broths, cooked meats, and taco-flavored chips. It's also the sensor that tastes MSG, monosodium glutamate. Some scientists think we also have other sensors, although we don't have a consensus on this yet. There may be a sensor for things like fat. Other people think we have sensors for the soapy taste and also for a metallic taste. The science is still out on these. Now, we don't all taste the same way. Even though we all have these taste sensors, we don't all sense the same way. Have you ever burnt your tongue by eating something hot? The heat from the food actually burned your taste sensors. It damaged them. Now, don't worry. It turns out that our body rebuilds these taste buds about every 2 weeks. And so for a little while, your ability to taste things will be lower, but once they're replaced, your taste will be back up to normal. The number of taste buds from person to person also varies, and it also changes as we age. Babies and children have more taste buds than adults. And that's one of the reasons they find spicy food very distasteful. To them, it's much spicier than to adults. As we age, we actually lose taste buds. And after the age of 50, the number drops fairly significantly. That's one reason why a lot of old people talk about the good old days when food tasted so much better. It's not that the food necessarily changed, but your ability to taste it has. And so it's quite common for older people to not enjoy their food as much. Even though I'm over 50, I still enjoy chocolate and a good steak. There's also a lot of variation between people. About 25% of the population has a high number of taste buds. Their taste is more acute, and we call these people super tasters. About 28% of the population has a very low number of taste buds. We call them non-tasters. These non-tasters can still taste food. It's just that the sensation isn't as great as in the other group. And that leaves about half the population they're just average. Now you might think that super tasters really enjoy their food. After all, they have so many taste buds. The problem is that a lot of our food has a bitter taste. And for the super tasters, this interferes with their enjoyment of the food. People who have less taste buds don't notice the bitter flavor so much, and they enjoy their food better. Super tasters tend to be very picky eaters because there's a lot of things they don't like, and that seems to describe me quite well. What's the difference between taste and flavor? We tend to interchange those two words and kind of use them for the same thing, but they're quite different. Taste is the sensation we get from our taste bud. It's all those things that we've talked about up to this point. Flavor is the full sensation that you get from eating. Now that actually starts before we actually put the food in our mouth. When we're looking at food, we see it. That starts the flavor sensation. We enjoy looking at certain foods. Then we pick up that food and it has an aroma and we smell that. We put it in our mouth and now the taste buds kick into action and they're tasting things. Because our nose and mouth are connected, we also have a sense of smell while the food is in our mouth. All of those things combine to add to the flavor. And the last sense that kicks in is the one for texture. Texture plays a very big role in how we perceive the food and what we consider its flavor to be. So flavor is really the sum of all those sensations. Taste is what our taste buds can sense. Let me give you a personal example here. I don't like the taste of celery, but it's not really the taste so much as the smell. I find celery has a really strong aroma, and I don't like that smell. And because of it, I don't like the taste. If we have 2 glasses of tomato juice, and one has celery in it and one doesn't, I can tell the difference between the two, usually before I even drink it. My wife can't tell the difference at all. Now there's another important idea here, and that is that taste is a result of signals sent from our taste buds to our brain. Flavor, though, is a collection of signals from a variety of different things. Sight, smell, taste, texture. All those signals get combined together. So flavor is really the net result of our brain interpreting all of those signals. Taste is more of a physical thing. Flavor is very much a mental thing. And that's one of the reasons everyone has different opinions about what is good food, because we all interpret these senses differently in our brain. Flavor is in our mind, and that's one of the reasons it's so subjective. I hope you enjoy your next meal while you're thinking about the tongue map. You can find Reality Time on YouTube, Substack, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. I'll put links to these and our social pages in the description below. If you're interested in gardening, check out my YouTube channel called Garden Fundamentals or my blog called Garden Myths. Let the truth shine into your life.